Hello everyone, Charles Watts here, the Arsenal correspondent at Goal, joining you on Saturday. I hope you are all going to have a very, very good weekend, although if you're over here in the UK, it is going to be a wet one, so take those brollies out if you are out and about over the next couple of days. But I thought I'd pop on and talk a little bit about Arsenal. It's quite quiet at the moment. Obviously no games this weekend for us to sort of focus on. Everyone else is playing, well not everyone, but most other teams are playing. We're going to have to sit back and enjoy an Arsenal-free weekend. Whether that's a good thing or a bad thing, I don't know. They've certainly ruined a lot of our weekends this season, but you always want to see the Arsenal play, don't you? But anyway, we'll have to take a watching glance today at the FA Cup final, other Premier League games, that sort of thing. But I just wanted to speak today on this video about David Luiz. Obviously, the big news breaking last night, that he is going to be leaving Arsenal at the end of the season. Arsenal, I don't know if they're going to confirm this publicly yet or officially what they're going to do, but it is correct. David Luiz is leaving Arsenal at the end of the season. From my understanding, that the pair, well, Arsenal and Luiz, they met yesterday at London Colney to have a conversation about his future. Obviously, he's out of contract at the end of the season. Both parties agreed it was right to go separate ways. David Luiz was, saying that he didn't want to sign a new contract, and Arsenal didn't want to give him one anyway. So it was all done very mutually, and it was decided on all parties that they should move on and go their separate ways at the end of the season, which I think personally is absolutely the right decision. I've said it before, I just feel like I like David Luiz, and I've got to say, I know a lot of you are going to disagree with me. I said it on social media last night and plenty disagreed with me there, but I actually think David Luiz has been a decent signing for Arsenal. For £8 million for 2 seasons, yes, they had to pay him some decent wages, but he is David Luiz, he's won lots of stuff, you're going to have to pay him well if you sign him. But on the whole, I think David Luiz has been a good signing for Arsenal. I think he's obviously had some bad moments. He made some very big errors that everyone knows about and everyone focuses on. But he's also played very, very well at times as well. I don't think Arsenal would have won the FA Cup without David Luiz. In fact, I'm certain that Arsenal wouldn't have won the FA Cup without David Luiz last season. He was so good in the semi-final against Manchester City. He was excellent in the final against Chelsea. He had all that experience and know-how to get the team through when they needed him in those 2 games. I think it was vitally important for that FA Cup success. And that on its own, I think, is pretty much worth £8 million to Arsenal. So on the whole, I think it's a decent thing. He's been so influential behind the pitch, off the pitch as well. Everyone that you talk to at Arsenal, no one's got a bad word to say about David Luiz. He's absolutely fantastic with the youngsters. You go and see how many youngsters. I remember Bukayo Saka, Emil Smith-Rowe, they've all talked about him and the influence that he's had on them. And you see how they interact with each other off the pitch as well. I think in these COVID times, we get to see quite a lot of the players interacting in and around the stadium and just sort of hanging around on the touchline. And you can just see how much they like him, how appreciated he is, and what a big influence he is behind the scenes. And he's been great with the media as well. He's fantastic when you talk to him. Just a real leader and full of experience. And I think he's been a good signing. Let me know if you agree, disagree. Always interested to see your opinions, but I don't think it's been a disaster. I've seen a lot of people saying, taking a mick out of David Luiz and Arsenal, but I think it's actually been a relatively good signing. Like I said, I can't see they would have won the FA Cup without him last season. I think this season he's been their best defender. And had he been fit in the last few weeks, I don't think Arsenal would have been out of the Europa League either. I think he's that important to the team. So it is a shame that he was injured, but I do think, like I said, the time was right for David Luiz to go. I think it would have been a big mistake if Arsenal would have given him a new contract now. I think he's 34 now. He's not going to get any better. We know that. And you don't want to get yourself tied into a long term, even if it's just 2 years now at this sort of age with a player like David Luiz. Let him go off now to America, where he might well go to MLS. Let him go back to Benfica if that's what he wants to do. Get his final contract and see out his playing days somewhere else. But you don't want to give him a contract and let him stay at Arsenal now. So the right decision was made. Mikel Arteta, absolutely the right decision was made there. They needed to make it. You could have seen Arsenal doing something a little bit silly and handed him a contract, because let's face it, it's Arsenal. They've done this sort of thing before, but they didn't. And like I said, those training ground talks at London Colney yesterday, they're all very amicable, mutual. Arsenal thanked David Luiz for his service and for what he's done and the influence he's had around the place. And David Luiz thanked Arsenal for the last 2 years, and that's it. So whether we'll see him again, we don't know. He's injured at the moment, obviously. I was told yesterday that he was really working hard to try and get himself back fit to at least play some part before the end of the season. Whether he manages to do that remains to be seen. It is a hamstring problem, obviously, so that could well be an issue. And Arsenal got Palace on Wednesday, and then they finish with Brighton on the Sunday. So whether he's involved or not, we don't know. But obviously, there's going to be 10,000 fans in the Brighton game, so there will be some sort of interaction between players and fans after the game. I don't know if you can really call it a lap of honour after this season, but Luiz will be there and he'll at least be able to say his goodbyes. I think the big question now is what next? I mean, what next for Luiz? I've already spoken about there. You're probably thinking MLS into Miami, apparently. David Beckham are very keen to take him over there, or Benfica, where he's spoken of before. He's always said it's his dream to play for Benfica again before he retires. He said last year, I think it was May 2020, did an interview saying he'd already talked to the Benfica president about that. So it could well be he ends up going back to Portugal. So that's what's next for him. But what next for Arsenal? Now, that's going to be the interesting thing. Where do Arsenal go with Luiz? Like I said, I still think, despite the faults that he's got, and I'm not hiding those faults, yes, he makes mistakes, he makes errors, I still think he's been Arsenal's best defender when he's been fit this season. He's really, really important. So he is going to be a miss. There's no doubt about it. When he's not there, he's going to be a miss. So what's next for Arsenal? I think the key thing, this all now revolves around William Saliba and what Arsenal are going to do with Saliba. He's been out on loan at Nice since January. He's been playing regularly. He's been playing well in a Nice side that has absolutely improved since William Saliba has gone to them. So what is going to happen? All the talk at Arsenal, everything we hear from Arsenal at the moment is he remains a key part of Arsenal's future. He hasn't been sent out to Nice to be forgot about or to make the move permanent. There is no permanent clause included in this. The view at Arsenal was always he was just going to go there to the end of the season, come back, and then he's going to very much remain an Arsenal player, and they see him very much as part of their future. If that is the case, and they're true to the word, and what people have been telling us is true, then William Saliba will have a chance to impress Mikel Arteta in pre-season. If he does that, then do Arsenal really need to go out and sign another centre-back? They've got plenty. We've got, obviously, David Luiz likes to play on the left-hand side of the defence. They've already got Gabriel and Pablo Mari in there. If you've got Rob Holding, Callum Chambers, if Callum Chambers stays, which he could well do because Mikel Arteta really likes Callum Chambers, they're two options on the right side of the centre-back. And obviously you've got William Saliba, again, a right-sided centre-back. So you do have options in centre-back there. I think the big thing is what he does. If he's going to give Saliba a chance, then I don't think you sign someone. But if he doesn't, if he brings him back, he has a look at him pre-season and doesn't think he's ready, or good enough, or will ever be good enough, then that's where I think Arsenal are going to have to look at getting a right-sided centre-back. Now, obviously, I'm sure you all know David Ornstein. He's been saying that Arsenal have been sort of looking at a right-sided centre-back for the last couple of windows. So maybe there will be a decision to be made there. But I do think it all revolves around William Saliba. I can't see, when you've got those centre-backs that I've just said, Mari, Gabriel, Holding, Chambers, Saliba, I don't know. I can't see you bringing another. Do you really want 6 centre-backs for next season, especially if you're not in Europe and you've only got a couple of competitions to focus on? I just don't think you do, really. So I think William Saliba holds the key. When it comes to what's next for Arsenal, it all going to revolve around what happens with Saliba when he comes back from his loan spell and if he impresses Arteta or not during pre-season. Now, we all hope he does because Arsenal invested an awful lot of money in Saliba, and I can't believe we still haven't seen him play a proper senior appearance for Arsenal yet since he signed a couple of years ago. He has shown since he's gone back to France that he's a very, very talented young defender. So we all want to see him come and make his mark at Arsenal and show exactly why they spent all that money to bring him in as such a young defender. So fingers crossed that this David Luiz situation now is going to open up that pathway for William Saliba to come in, to make his mark and to go on and possibly with Gabriel form a centre-back partnership that Arsenal could rely on for an awful long time to come, because there's going to be so much for Arsenal to do this transfer window. I just think you don't really want to be spending out millions and million pounds again in a... Well, you think how many in the last couple of windows they spent? Saliba, 27 million on Saliba, 8 million on Luiz. What was in there? 30 million for Gabriel, I think, or something around that in the last few windows. So each window for a while now, they've been splashing out money on centre-backs. You really don't want to have to do that again this window when you've got so many other areas that you need to improve. So I think that is going to be really key for Arsenal this summer. William Saliba, this is his opportunity. Just hopefully he can take it this time. Just quickly before I move on to Arsenal's pre-season plans, because I've got some good information for you on what's going on for Arsenal this pre-season. Could be quite an exciting summer, actually, in terms of pre-season friendlies this summer. But obviously the left-back situation, that's going to be an interesting one in the transfer window as well. Arsenal absolutely want a left-back as cover for Kieran Tierney. We've seen the issues that they've had since Kolasinac has been let go to Schalke. Now, Kolasinac will come back this summer. Obviously, he was only on loan back in Germany, but Arsenal will do all they can to move him on again. They don't really want to see him as the cover for Tierney next season. They're trying to they are in the mix for Ryan Bertrand. He is leaving Southampton. That has been announced now. He will be going somewhere. We did a story on Goal from Nizar Kinsella, our Chelsea reporter. And he did a story last week on Goal about Ryan Bertrand, AC Milan, Monaco, Arsenal, as we've already reported, are in talks with Bertrand about a possible free transfer this summer. I think he ticks all the boxes for me. Again, I've seen people say, "Oh, he's not good enough," blah blah blah. What do you want really as cover for Kieran Tierney? You know Tierney, when he's fit, is going to be playing, so it's going to be very hard to attract a real top quality, certainly young left back in when you know you're going to be second choice. It's kind of similar to the Tottenham situation. How long have they tried to get a decent backup striker for Harry Kane? It's really difficult, because why does anyone want to come and sit on the bench? Because you know when Kane's fit, Kane's going to play. And it's going to be similar at Arsenal. I mean, you're talking about possibly the future Arsenal captain here in Kieran Tierney. So it's going to be difficult to entice a really decent young left back to come and sit second choice. So I think Ryan Bertrand, he's experienced, he's fit. I mean, he played very well against Arsenal this season when I saw him. He wants to come back to London. He knows the area, knows the Premier League. And for me, I just think it ticks all the boxes. This one, it'd be a free transfer. You don't have to spend too much money on it. I mean, if he's asking for stupid wages, then by all means say no, thank you, bye-bye, and go and look anywhere else. But for me, I think if the wages that he's asking are acceptable, free transfer, I think you bite your hand off to get that one done. I think he's homegrown as well. Again, another thing that ticks all the boxes. So for me, I think they're really important. That would be a signing that will work very, very well if Arsenal can get that one done in the coming weeks. Okay, before I go, let's talk about pre-season. I'm sure you're going to be interested about that. I mean, this season we've still got a couple of games to go, but Arsenal's plans for this pre-season are already pretty much in place, and it looks pretty exciting. There's one big thing that's going to be happening: a 3-way London tournament. It hasn't been officially announced yet, but from what I understand, this is virtually all done, signed and dusted. We will soon get confirmation of exactly how it's going to work, but Arsenal, Tottenham and Chelsea are going to be involved in this mini London tournament. All proceeds going to be going towards the charity. It might end up being called something like the London Charity Cup, something like that. So very good sort of PR for the clubs as well, especially after the Super League fiasco. The London charity is going to really benefit from that. It's going to be 3 games. From my understanding, Arsenal will be at home to Chelsea. Then Arsenal will play away at Tottenham, and the other game will see Chelsea host Tottenham at Stamford Bridge. So each team has one home game, and Arsenal's home game will be Chelsea. That's going to be played in the first week of August, so a couple of weeks before the season starts. And yeah, I think that's really interesting. It'll be a really good, exciting little twist on pre-season, that one, I think. Obviously, normally Arsenal go away, do these big pre-season tours. Everyone does. It's a big money spinner for the clubs. Can't happen now in these COVID times. So they've got to make the best of it. And I think if you have near enough full stadiums, which clubs at the moment they're in talks to see exactly what sort of crowd they can get in for these ones. But if you've got those 3 stadiums pretty much full, it's going to feel really competitive against those teams, because obviously the rivalry is there. So I think that's an exciting little addition to this summer. Arsenal are also hoping to have another very high-profile Emirates friendly. I think it'll be the week after the London tournament, so the weekend immediately before the season starts. Don't know who that's going to be against yet. I don't think it's going to be the Emirates Cup in the usual guise, obviously. Well, it's not, so it's not going to be over a 2-day tournament or anything like that. But I think Emirates are going to be involved. Arsenal are talking to their sponsors at the moment. It might be like the Emirates Airlines presents so-and-so, and it'll be Arsenal versus, apparently it's going to be a high-profile team. So interesting to keep an eye out for that one. So 2 high-profile Emirates fixtures this summer. Arsenal will also be spending a week in Scotland, where there will be 2 games. The Rangers game has already been officially announced. I think that's July 17th. So it'll be a training camp in Scotland for Arsenal for a week, and I understand that they will also play a match against Hibernian while they are there. And they are in discussions over doing a warm weather training camp somewhere outside of the UK. They are exploring the possibility of going over to the United States. Should that happen, there will probably be a couple of games played around that training camp somewhere in the United States. So if any of you are watching this in America, you might get the opportunity to see Arsenal this summer. But if it all proves a little bit too difficult in terms of travel corridors, that sort of thing for the club, then there is a possibility of spending a week somewhere in Europe as well. So that is how Arsenal's pre-season plan is shaping up. 2 games at the Emirates, 2 games in Scotland, and a training camp either in the in the United States or somewhere in Europe. I think there might be another European friendly as well. So plenty to look forward to this summer. We've only got a couple of games left now. I think we're all looking forward to this season being done and dusted, getting into the summer, seeing who Arsenal sign, seeing who they sell, and then all getting ready for next season, which hopefully, fingers crossed, is going to be a little bit more of an enjoyable season for us all to watch. And Arsenal are going to have a little bit more success than they have this season. All right, everyone, that's about it for me. Thank you very much for watching. I appreciate all your time as always. Enjoy your weekend. If you are out and about in the UK, watch out for that weather because it sounds like it's going to be pretty nasty. And I'll speak to you very, very soon. Have a good one, everyone.